What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben and welcome back to another episode of the D-Day Buddy Build. This is episode number 6, and today, guys, we're going to push forward, see what we can get done, and maybe, hopefully, get the fuselage together and work on a few extra pieces on the wings. So last episode, we went ahead and tackled the cockpit, and most of it is finished. We've got our instrument panel done. We've got everything kind of touched up here where we need it to be. We have a little bit of the front bulkhead we need to go ahead and finish working on, but we need to go ahead and do a little bit more work there on the fuselage itself. I'm going to go ahead and mount the cockpit into the fuselage and get everything ironed out. First couple of steps are all cleared out and done. We are looking good there. Second step, we are going to be working on that today. We got to build that front bulkhead, that front firewall area. We also have to get the rear landing gear installed as well, the tail wheel. But here's one issue, the seat belts, guys. We don't have any seat belts with this kit. It doesn't come with any seat belts. So we're going to have to go ahead and figure out what to do. Now, I do have an idea of what we can do for those seat belts, and we're going to put that into action a little bit later. But right now, the seat is actually not glued in to the cockpit tub. I left that unglued on purpose because, well, when we go ahead and install some seat belts into this, I don't want to have to fight it. So no, the seat is not glued in right now. That's fine. We can go ahead and just put that off to the side and we can tackle that a little bit later. But it looks pretty awesome. I like how that seat cushion turned out and everything is nicely weathered, so we're looking decent. Now the fuselage tub just fits right into the side of the fuselage, but we do have to worry about the front firewall. The front firewall actually consists of a couple of different parts, so we're going to have to jump into a time lapse real quick, get this thing all glued up, and get this ready to be installed into the fuselage. We also have to do a little bit of work on the rear tail wheel and bits and pieces here and there, so cue up that time lapse and let's get this thing rocking and rolling. So the fuselage went together beautifully. No complaints there. Everything is nice and secure. The rear tail wheel is a little bit interesting though because they give you two different tail wheels and they look exactly the same. So I don't know why they give you two different ones. So we went ahead and installed the already assembled one because I don't really want to fool with having to put together the different struts and the legs and all that stuff. I just used what was there. It looks fantastic. So we're going to move on to the wings now. We have to go ahead and build up the wheelbase. So that's going to be the majority of this episode. We have to go ahead and get this wheelbase so that we can then next episode start installing the top of the wings and get everything kind of buttoned up. Have to do a little bit of cleanup, though nothing too crazy. And we also have to worry about the wing mounted guns. The inner guns are already drilled out. The outer guns, however, are not. So we're going to go ahead and make a little bit of an indentation using our pin vise. And I'm going to use my micro drill bit here, and we're also going to use a hobby knife, and we're just going to go ahead and hollow these out so that we have something there that we can then place the guns up inside. Nothing too crazy. We're just going to take our pin vise here with that little micro drill bit in here. We're just going to slowly and very carefully work our way into the actual opening. I might also want to take the X-Acto knife a little bit and kind of open that up just a tiny bit more. Let's go ahead and do that. Just give it a couple of swipes here, and I think we'll be pretty decent Now, of course, when you actually install the guns towards the later end of the actual assembly, we won't have to worry too much about it. We just slide those right into that opening and we should be good to go. I can also take it a bit deeper if I need to, but I think we're just going to go in just a little bit to give it enough so that it actually just kind of glues up in there when we actually do install those wing guns. I think that's looking pretty decent. Hopefully you can see on camera. We've got a nice little bit of indentation. I think we're good. From reading the instructions, it looks like these wheelbays are very, very detailed. Not only do we have the front center section of the actual wheelbase, we also have all of these different stringers that run through the wheelbase. We also have the cannon barrels that go ahead and protrude through the lower part of the wheelbase. So we have a lot of detail work and a lot of assembly we're going to have to do. I don't think that'll be too difficult, but I'm just not used to doing that. Usually like with a Hasegawa kit or like a Tamiya kit, typically it's all molded in as one, but this case we have to go ahead and build all these little different areas. So it's going to be kind of labor intensive work. We should be able to handle it, but again, it's going to be a little bit more than I'm used to doing. So first off, we're going to clean up this main wing spar, get this all nicely sanded down, and then we're going to go ahead and dry fit it to the fuselage, because I have a feeling that we're going to have to go ahead and mount the center section and glue that in, and then to make sure we have the correct dihedral, we're going to have to go ahead and glue down those wings onto the upturned sections here of the wing spar. That should help maintain that. Let's go ahead and give it a test fit here and just check and see how this main center section fits into the opening. As long as I take my time with this, we should be able to get a nice solid gluing surface and it should hold. At least, fingers crossed, it holds well. Of course, we also have to build on a couple little extra pieces here and there. So let's go ahead and cue up that time lapse again. And then we're going to focus on installing all the different support structures up inside the wheel wells themselves, getting this thing looking good and getting that dihedral to match. So that's very, very important. Let's see what we can do. Fingers crossed, guys. Let's get this done. All right, everybody, the wheel wells are mostly together. We're going to shift over here now to the guns. Now, the inboard guns here on the wings, the ones that kind of come through the wing root area, those actually have a visible barrel that goes from the back of the wheel bay through all the way to the leading edge and then out through the leading edge. So we have to go ahead and kind of figure that out. Now, the actual barrels themselves protrude from these little grommets. I don't know if that's the correct term, but they protrude from this and they go through the front leading edge, and then they'll protrude out the very front of the wing. Now let me go ahead and pull one of these cannon barrels out, and we'll check it out, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. The cannon barrels do require a little bit of work, so we're just going to kind of clean them up a little bit with the edge of our hobby knife. Shouldn't be that difficult to do. These actually would look really good if I had some like actual brass barrels or some actual metal barrels. That would be really neat. But as you can see, they just kind of plug right in there. The back part goes up against that rear bulkhead there on the spar, and then it goes all the way through and just pokes out just there on the leading edge. It is quite visible when looking up into the wheel wells. Now those are actually supposed to be a different color though. They're supposed to be a dark iron color, but we can fool with that a little bit later. My main worry here is that when I'm actually assembling things and sanding things, I might break one of these gun barrels off. So what I've decided to do instead is we're going to go ahead and cut off the gun barrel up inside the wing leading edge. That way we can just pop that back in and glue it and secure it, so it's got a lot of plastic to go ahead and glue it in. That's kind of my plan. Now, of course, I could actually replace these with some turned brass or something like that, but I don't have any of that on me, and I don't really want to go to the hobby store to buy any, so we're just going to use the plastic parts. And then we'll just push this right inside. As you can see here, we have the back section glued into that grommet. The front section is open, and so now all we have to do is just attach everything, and then when we're ready to install those gun barrels, we'll just push them on through and glue them in. We might want to actually open up the front too to have a little bit of action there. Be good to go. Anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead and call it quits for today. Next episode, we're going to go ahead and focus on the top of the wings. We have those wing cannon ports we have to go ahead and figure out. I don't plan on having them open or exposed, but we'll go ahead and tackle that next episode, guys. Until then, you know the drill. Go out there, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool, and we'll see you back here next week on episode number 7 of the D-Day Buddy Build. We're getting there, guys, step by step, but we are getting there. Stay safe, happy building, and we'll see you soon.